This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
What if one face serum could tackle blackheads, dullness, and fine lines? Power Trip Exfoliating Facial Serum by Verify Skincare has proven it can. This biotech-powered formula combines gentle exfoliation with deep hydration to transform your skin. No dryness, no irritation. With clinically tested ingredients like lactic acid and phytospherics technology, it's all about real results. Upgrade your routine with Power Trip by Verify Skincare. Visit verifyskincare.com to start your order today. 100% money-back guarantee and free gifts with purchase. Verify Skincare. Clean, simple, powerful.
Fan.
Thanks to friends at Unreal, you can restock your wardrobe with Unreal golf apparel this year, just like Common. Register to win up to $1,000 in Unreal golf apparel on our contest page. One lucky winner will restock their closet with amazing golf apparel, thanks to Unreal. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter today.
Somebody asked me when they were testing the ellipsis, what's for lunch? I'm having avocado toast. You ever have avocado toast, Tenneby?
Avocado is yucky. But...
Speaking of Camp Richard up at Grandview, when we were there for the opener, on Friday morning, they didn't have the buffet because they didn't have enough people lodged yet. They were all coming in on Friday. So we had to order off the menu, which is terrific. But they had avocado toast. Baby brother Peter and I both had it. Literally maybe the greatest thing I've ever had in my entire life. Now, my avocado toast won't be quite as exotic as theirs because they had, some tomatoes chopped on it from Italy, I believe, and all sorts of other. And then they had some kind of like a chipotle sauce or something. Oh, God, it was just so good. But I'm making my own right now. That's what I'm having for lunch as we get ready to dive into 534.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. Programming predicament.
No, I don't like this.
Yeah, your Frost are in Ottawa for Game 2 of their Welter Cup Final Series against the Charge tonight. That game starts at 6 p.m. It can be seen on FanDuel Sports Network. And then, of course, the Wolves are at Oklahoma City for Game 2 of their Western Conference Final Series. That game starts at 7:30 p.m. You can watch it on ESPN. And, of course, you can listen to it right here on The Fan with Howlin' with the Homies with Max and Parker beforehand, and they'll be doing Wolves Fan Line after. Common, what are you going to do about tonight's
Programming predicament?
I think I'll be playing golf. What would you do at between 6 and 9 o'clock at night if you were up at Grandview Lodge? Would you sit inside the cabin and watch sports on TV, or would you be sticking a tee in the ground on Woods number 1 and letting her rip that little gentle fade on that left to right dog leg par 5. Then number 2 is just a great hole. It's a lengthy one. I love that they removed the bunker. They used to have a blind bunker because that green, it kind of drops down. So right at the end of the fairway, it drops down, and there was a bunker right in front of the green. And having played there often enough, I knew it was there. But if you did, it's such a great. So what would you do? That's my question. My 5-3-4 for you is: would you watch Wolves and Frost? Would you play golf?
I'd go to the pro shop, buy a sleeve of balls, and be on my way.
You are correct, me boy. So
no Gilligan's Island tonight.
No, you just let me know who wins. I'll keep abreast of it on my handheld.
I'm sure you'll tune into the 10 of Fitzgerald tomorrow on the iHeartRadio app on your phone, and you'll be listening. That's when you'll find out all the info.
We'll probably be out on Gull Lake on the pontoon boat at that point.
Question number 2. It's time now for a look at the Lynx.
Yeah, the Minnesota Lynx stay hot. They beat the Dallas Wings 85-81 last night at Target Center, and Paige Becker's return to Minnesota. Becker's, by the way, recorded 12 points on 3 of 11 shooting and added a game-high 10 assists. Lynx improved to 3-0 on the season. Common, your thoughts?
I told you, Cheryl Reeve is a master motivator. If you remember last year, she was as outraged, as angry, and as bitter as I've ever heard a coach regarding that championship game against Liberty when they thought a foul should have been called, or there was a foul called on them that they thought shouldn't have been called. Whatever it was, the Reeves and the Lynx thought they got jobbed by the officials. And she's continued to talk about it. I think they've used that as motivation. I have no proof of that, but I think they've got a chip on their shoulder. They have an axe to grind, Tennessee, and that's a really nice start. And you do have to hand it to that organization. They had that terrific run when Lindsay was on the team. Did we win 4 world championships altogether? Is that the number for the Lynx?
So, by the way, the controversy was Liberty's Brianna Stewart was fouled with 6.3 seconds left in regulation. They called it a foul. Lynx challenged the call, but that was unsuccessful. She hit both free throws.
Okay.
That forced the game to go to overtime. And then what was the question you just asked me? I'm sorry, I was reading.
We won 4 titles with the Lynx, right?
Yes.
Was it 4?
4 in 7 years, I believe.
And then, again, refresh my memory, did we have like a down year or two?
We had a couple down years.
And now we're back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the sign of a coach and just an organization, a front office, ownership group that they know what they're doing. We've seen many teams over the years win a championship or two, never to be heard from again. So, and Motor City Kitties won 3 of them in the 1950s and haven't won one since. So, here's your prime example right there. So, good for them. And as Tennessee, as a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves once said, as the crowd was erupting with joy as the Wolves were winning a meaningless game under Bill Musselman, ruining their chance of the number 1 overall pick, a member of that Wolves staff stared down Media Row and looked at Dan Burrow and said, "What's wrong with winning?" Well, what's wrong with winning is when it's going to be your 11th win of the season, you've just gone from the number 1 pick overall to 6. That's what's wrong with winning. But good for the Lynx. I like it.
Question number 3.
Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay passed away yesterday at the age of 65. Common, you seem to have an affinity for Jim Irsay. So what was your reaction to hearing the news of his death? So Jim Irsay was a longtime owner of the Indianapolis Colts, helped them draft Peyton Manning. They won some big games while he was there, loved old rock music.
That was my affinity for him.
Yeah.
I read a story where in his daily conversations with people, he would insert lyrics from rock songs or, pops, whatever, rock and roll music that he enjoyed into his daily conversations. Which I do too. That's why, when people say, "Common, how you doing?" And I go, "I got a daytime job. I'm doing all right." And that comes from the Dire Straits song Sultans of Swing. And Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. He's got a daytime job. He's doing all right. And so I do that often myself. I mean, I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh, Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. I read the news today, oh boy. So I do that as well. I mean, he lived a fairly charmed life. I mean, it was the old man that owned the club, I think Robert Irsay. And then he started working, like anybody, he's just a little kid. I think he started in the organization either as a ball boy or the kid that runs and grabs the kicking tee after the kickoff. And then he just kind of worked his way up the ladder. Obviously, as the son of the owner, that's your job if you want it. And he did, and he got it, and he was successful at it. He had, I think, substance abuse issues in his life as well. And he died in his sleep at 65. And I still, unless there's been an updated story since, I left the house today, because I haven't looked at anything since, 10 o'clock or so. No, I don't think they have a cause of death yet, right? Or have they?
Not yet.
Yeah,
no.
because that'll be a while, I would assume. But yeah, so 65, much too young, rest in peace. And he did do, again, sometimes when a son or a daughter or a family member gets gifted a team like that, it's the old, well, he sure got a nice daddy gave him the club, but it's what you do with it then, and he apparently did it pretty, because he won a big game, and they drafted Manning, so it worked out well for him. So let's just say that to Jim Irsay, it's dark, too dark to see. He's knocking on heaven's door. So there you go.
Question number 3. And now it's time to go in the trenches.
Judy Batista of NFL.com ranked the NFL's most vulnerable division champions in 2025. According to her, the most vulnerable reigning division champion is the Detroit Lions. She has the Baltimore Ravens at 2, Philadelphia Eagles at 3, LA Rams at 4, Houston Texans at 5, Tampa Bay at 6, Kansas City Chiefs at 7, and the Buffalo Bills at 8. Common, do you agree that the Detroit Lions are the most vulnerable reigning division champions?
I could make that argument. And I have a question for you. Do you think that has to do with she or others think the Lions are going to take a step back?
I think it's competition.
Or it's the competition in the division. I think that's what it is. They won the division at 15-2, and they won it by a nose hair.
The last week, yeah.
Yeah. The Vikings finished 14-3.
Needed Sam Darnold missing Justin Jefferson open in the back of the end zone multiple times for it to happen.
And the Packers, again, they weren't close, but they were 11-6. And then everybody, at least with the moves the Bears have made, you think they got a competent head coach now. We don't know. Ben Johnson's never been the guy. He's a brilliant offensive coordinator by all accounts. So now he's running the show there. They needed some help. That was Caleb Williams' biggest problem. He didn't get rid of the ball, but he was under pressure. We saw that here, right? A lot of pressure on the quarterback, and so they fixed that. So the Bears should be good. Packers, yeah, I would say probably the Lions. That being said, I don't see any reason why the Lions shouldn't be in the hunt for an NFC North title. Kings of the North, as we'd like to say.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Hey, it's Stu Keyword, the fan and BigDeck.com. Want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword BILLS at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is BILLS. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Did you know that many products for pregnant women do not have their own clinical trials for safety or efficacy? That's because pregnant women are often excluded from clinical studies. Ritual is aiming to set a new standard with their Essential Prenatal Multivitamin. It's the #1 best-selling prenatal and the only leading prenatal backed by its own human clinical trial. Essential Prenatal is proven to deliver key nutrients, including folate, biotin, and vitamin D during pregnancy. Moms taking Essential Prenatal had a lower overall cortisol level during pregnancy than those taking a leading prenatal. Plus, it's designed to be gentle on the stomach. Ritual doesn't just have your back. They have the receipts. Get 25% off at ritual.com/clinical. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
With the Homies is coming to you live before and after every game of the Western Conference Finals. Thanks to Youngsteads. Join Max and Parker as they get you ready for each game. And don't forget to tune in after the games as they take your calls and break down all the action. Listen as always right here on KFAN for the free iHeartRadio app or watch it at KFAN.com/watch.
A couple 13-14 Pats and a couple 13-14 text messengers have inquired, did Jim Irsay pass away in Egan at the owners' meeting? The story I saw said he was not at the owners' meeting. And I think there was, didn't they have an owners kind of get together back in Florida in March or something too? And I don't think
they had a previous owners' meeting. Yeah,
so he didn't attend that either. And the story I saw said no one, at least that outlet was not sure, that news outlet, I think it was ESPN, said they were not sure if he was at the NFL draft or not. So whether he'd been feeling ill and just didn't attend any of these meetings, but they just said he passed away peacefully in his sleep. Got another controversial question for you, Tennessee. I asked you earlier, coming on the heels of the two Western and Eastern Conference Finals game ones, Wolves get destroyed. Knickerbockers basically let one get away. I mean, they just collapsed under a barrage of three-pointers by Naismith, and then one by Halliburton. Which would you rather lose by? Would you rather get beat in a blowout, or would you rather, if you had to pick one or the other, want to get beat either one? And I think I like what you said about, look, with the Wolves, in that instance, I don't come away from that game thinking, well, they can't play with the Thunder. There's just no way. Though I will say this, the Knicks, I would hope their psychological approach would be, we had them. We can beat this team. We proved it. We had them on the ropes. That game was ours. So we just got to make sure we don't let them allow to do that. So either way, two very different ways to end games in game one of the Western Conference Finals 2 nights ago, and then the Eastern Conference Final game one last night. I'm also reminded by a text messenger, so I pulled up the story, Tennessee. Do you remember when Jim Irsay said he was prejudiced because he was a white billionaire? That's why he was pulled in. It was a story from back in November of 2023. Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay said his 2014 arrest for operating a vehicle while intoxicated was a result of police prejudice against him for being a rich white billionaire. Irsay discussed the circumstances of his arrest as part of a wide-ranging interview with HBO Sports. The longtime Colts owner pleaded guilty September of 2014 to one misdemeanor count of operating a vehicle while intoxicated. When asked why he pleaded guilty, Irsay responded, just to get it over with. I am prejudiced against because I'm a rich white billionaire. If I'm just the average guy down the block, they're not pulling me in. Of course not.
I always love that one.
Irsay was asked how he thought his assertion would be received. I don't care what it sounds like. It's the truth. I could give a damn what people think, how anything sounds or sounds like. The truth is the truth, and I know the truth. the whole truth and some semblance of the truth. Please, in the Indianapolis suburb of they don't have a suburb in Indianapolis called Carmel, do they?
They do, and I believe I played them in baseball when I was younger in a national tournament. They were very good at baseball.
It's not similar to the Carmel in California. I just can't think I just don't think they're one and the same. He was pulled over March 2014 after he was spotted driving slowly, stopping in the roadway and failing to use a turn signal. Officers said he had trouble reciting the alphabet. I still do, and Meat Sauce doesn't know the alphabet. And failed other field sobriety tests. Irsay, when asked whether the arrest was a low point for him, he told HBO Sports that he failed the field sobriety test because he was just coming off hip surgery. Okay. The arrest was wrong. I just had hip surgery and had been in the car for 45 minutes. And what? They asked me to walk the line? Are you kidding me? I can barely walk at all. Irsay was asked by HBO Sports to clarify his assertion that he failed the sobriety test because of hip surgery, not because he was under the influence. Yes, I mean, I'm not saying that. It's a fact. Well, anyway.
Can you just take a breathalyzer test then to override that a little bit?
I would think. I don't know.
What would happen if you passed the breathalyzer but failed the field sobriety test? How would they determine that in a courtroom?
That's a question for reasonable doubt for reasonable fee guy.
Because I've heard before, the field sobriety test is hard. It's it is challenging for sober people that you can make mistakes on it, right?
Last time I was pulled over, I got out of it. Speeding ticket. Remember? Because I was honest with the highway patrol. Pulled me over on 694, 494, and he says, you know how fast you were going? I go, 72, 73. He said, 75. I see your driver's license. I go, it's in my backpack in the trunk of the car. You want me to get it? He says, no, I don't want you getting out of the car here on the highway, so I'll just call it in. What's your name? Comes back and he hands me a warning. I go, what's the warning for? He says, because you were honest with me. Because most people, including myself, when you've gotten pulled over before, you know how fast you were going? I was doing about 61. No, you were doing 71, and you know you were doing 71, but you think, the officer's going to go, oh, okay, I guess I was wrong. I could have swore my radar said 71, but if you say you were going 61, I guess you were. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. I just told him, I was going faster. Yeah, I told him I just came off kind of a mediocre round of golf, and my mind was kind of wandering. And then we talked about golf a little bit. He likes to play golf as well. He'd played Manitou Ridge. So honesty is the best policy. So let that be a lesson to you. But when I came back, this was a number of years ago, before Leon Russell passed away. He did a concert at the Dakota. And I got pulled over coming back from the concert. I got Tuesday night, Thursday, regardless of what night it was. And the cop pulled me over, and he kind of, so, where you been tonight? I go, I was at a concert down at the Dakota, Leon Russell. Oh, really? And he leaned into the car. So, how much you had to drink tonight? And he leaned in so he could smell it, right? And I go, tonight? Said, I haven't had a drink in 35 years, officer. And he almost seemed crestfallen. Because I think he thought this was going to be his, when
gotcha moment?
Well, yeah, because when you're out on if you're, maybe a highway patrolman can tell me. If you're out, you got the night shift, right? 11 at night to, 7 in the morning, whatever it is. Gets to be a long day, right? You're just out there, and all of a sudden, well, if I can get it, and plus you're getting a dangerous person off the road if they are indeed driving while intoxicated, so it's a good thing you're doing it. But it's well, this is, by the time I pull him over, give him the stupid human tricks, blah, 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 book him, take him in, this and that. That's going to kill 2 hours of my night right there, right? So I guess I don't blame him. Plus, it gets the scourge off the streets. But he seemed like he thought I was his guy, and it was just no, I haven't had a drink in, it's 30 years, whatever it's been. Did I tell you I quit drinking?
You really?
Yeah, I don't know if I ever brought that up before, but I did, yeah. Breathalyzer doesn't pick up other substances. Here's another. You could be on something other than booze. He had some prescription drugs on him or with him, I think, and I don't remember all the details of the story. He may have had a whole multicolored galaxy of uppers and downers and screamers and laughers. I don't know what he had, but yeah, so the breathalyzer doesn't always work. The one thing you don't want to say to the officer, this is what I used to say all the time. When they pull you over and you go, how fast were you going? No, let's say it was 65 miles an hour zone. You go, I'm doing about 67. No, you're doing about 77. And then you go, when was the last time you had your radar calibrated, officer? When was the last time you had your radar calibrated?
Yeah, how often do they test those?
Yeah. If you go with when was the last time you had your radar calibrated, you're getting a ticket. Don't go with that one. Because people have tried it. You're Mr. Radar Calibrated. Oh, you got me now. The best is when they go, well, yesterday, as a matter of fact, if you want to see the documentation, I can show it to you. And then you kind of just go, why don't you just go ahead and give me that ticket and I'll move on with my life. Well, speaking of moving on with our lives, we are going to break. We'll be back with a little Distat Lat and then Mark Rosen just before 2 o'clock right here on the Fan.
You can't rely on blind faith to get the pregnancy support you deserve. Ritual's Essential Prenatal Multivitamin is the only leading prenatal backed by its own human clinical trial. Essential Prenatal is proven to deliver key nutrients, including folate, biotin, and vitamin D during pregnancy. Get 25% off when you visit ritual.com/clinical. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Man.
Send in your tractor talkbacks. KFAN and Sukup Manufacturing bring you Fan on the Farm. Each day through the end of the month, 9 to noon, we'll be taking your tractor talkbacks, where one farmer will be chosen to receive a Sukup prize pack, including a Carhartt cooler and a Brewmate Growler canteen. Get a full list of rules at KFAN.com/farm. Sukup Manufacturing, helping farmers feed and fuel the world.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm the common man, Dan Cole. These tend to be the legendary Mark Rosen, formerly of Channel 4 Sports. Sports is your whole life, just sports fame. Will join us on the Grum just before 2 o'clock. A legendary columnist for the Fish Wrap Factory West Side, the Minnesota Star Tribune, Lavelle E. Neal III, tend to be. I think he started some controversy. Did you read his column today?
I did not.
Headline: Success of Becker's Holmgren Minnesota franchises emblematic of this state of basketball.
Oh my gosh, above average.
The Timberwolves and Lynx seek titles. Minnesota hoops can't be much better at the moment. Is this now the state of basketball tend to be? Does a free throw line surround our state? No, wait. Yeah. Does a free throw line, does a 3-point arc surround our state? What do you think?
It's better than it used to be. It has improved. I don't know if I'm ready to call it state of basketball. I would say maybe more so on the women's side, right? I mean, Paige Becker's #1 overall. Lindsay Whalen.
4 Lynx titles.
Greenway's kid coming down the pike here is going to be really, really good.
Members of the state of basketball gathered Wednesday to welcome back one of their own in Paige Beckers, the Hopkins and UConn legend, who is embarking on her rookie WNBA season. It was one reason why upper deck seats at the Bullseye were made available Wednesday night. Beckers was cheered when she entered the court for pregame warmups. The cheers turned into screams when she was introduced as part of the Dallas starting lineup. And I talked, had a comment from her, too, how cool she thought it was. And then he talks about, Chet Holmgren, who played at Minnehaha Academy, went on to Gonzaga, and then he was with OKC. He'll be playing the Timberwolves at Game 3 here at the Bullseye. Hoops in the state can't be much better at the moment. Minnesota prep products are playing in major college conferences across the country. Some are now landing on NBA and WNBA rosters. The Wolves are in the middle of a championship window. The Lynx are looking to revisit their dynastic times. State of basketball has a nice ring to it. Becker said, I think, it's a basketball state. Probably, I wouldn't say as much as hockey, but it's up there just with the continued success and the people we put out recently. So, she did couch it a little bit and said, look, it ain't hockey. Because there's a blue line that surrounds the state. Tenemy, you cut your teeth in the penalty box.
Yeah.
So then Lavelle does say, hockey folks, don't get your breezers in a bunch as you read this. So he knows he's poking the bear.
He's trying to,
He's trying to get the hockey community going. It sounds like to me. This is not advocating for a takeover. I know Lakeville probably has more backyard rinks per capita during the winter than any suburb in America. And there are Minnesotans throughout the NHL. Hoops hysteria has hit this town, however, as the Wolves are in the postseason for the fourth consecutive years. He said, I needled fans for over-celebrating in 2022 when the Wolves won the play-in game as Pat Bebb jumped on the scores table in glee, but the Wolves had been to the postseason just once over the previous 17 seasons. I don't know, Teneby. So then he closes it out by saying, so let this be the state of basketball for a while. As the Wolves and Lynx seek titles, the Puck fans can fire up in September after Billy Guerin fortifies the Wild with free agents he can finally afford. Which leads to, it raises all sorts of interesting issues, including, do most diehard hockey fans hate basketball and diehard basketball fans hate hockey? I can like them both. I do enjoy it. But as a matter of fact, the other night, I watched from 6 o'clock until about 7:40, the Frost. And then they went to an intermission. Then I put the Wild game or the Wolves game on. And I watched the Wolves. And then Deuce and I clicked back and watched a little hockey. Then we kind of went back and forth. And of course, that game ended.
What hockey game did you watch?
The Frost against the
Charge.
Yeah.
Oh, you defending champion?
Yes.
Of the PWHL first? I didn't hear that in Lavelle's column there when he was making just talking about how great the Wolves and Lynx were. I didn't hear about the Frost.
No mention of
apparently,
Frost.
They won a championship last year. They're playing for another one now. Where's that one, Lavelle?
Yeah. Conveniently left out of the column because it doesn't.
Wild, now that they're about to be unshackled from the salary cap, are about to become the Skatriots over the next 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Where's that, Lavelle?
Well, and how about this? The kid that just had the Hattie and the Natty, the Chris kid from, I think he's from Channy or Chaska. He's going to Minnesota State to play hockey.
Yeah. He's one of us.
Yeah, he's one of us. You don't hear much of that from Lavelle Neal III.
Who's the starting goaltender for the Dallas Stars who went up 1-0 last night in the Western Conference Final? Oh, he's from Lakeville. Jake Ottinger.
He played one of those backyard rinks in Lakeville. That
apparently he's not on Chet Holmgren's level.
Yeah, Lavelle E. Neal brought up.
Lavelle?
Yeah. We can like them both.
Yes.
I enjoy both. Now that neither is my favorite sport. Yours is hockey. Mine, golf's my favorite participation sport. I do watch golf on television, but football is my favorite spectator sport. I like, especially the NFL. I like that. But I like hockey. I like hockey. Don't you think that's some information I'd like to know? I didn't have a programming predicament the other night, other than I had to juggle the two games back and forth. And I told you, as I mentioned, I wasn't sure it was the first women's hockey game I watched. I didn't know what to expect. I thought that was quality hockey. I thought it was fun. It was exciting. Mm-hmm. It's fast paced, back and forth. Great game. Two good hockey clubs. And then we went over and talk about losing. We said, what would you rather lose like the Knicks did last night or like the Wolves did the night before? How about would you rather lose like the Wolves did or how the Frost did? The Frost lost, a heartbreaker in overtime, So, yeah.
But to your original point, I'm sure there are some in the hockey community and the basketball community that do feel like they're pitted against each other. I think the vast majority of people, though, are just like, I'm just a sports fan. Now, do I like hockey more than basketball? Yes, but I also played hockey growing up, coached hockey. I have more of a passion for the sport. But it's possible to like two sports going on at the same. My favorite athlete of all time is a basketball player. That's Michael Jordan. I watched all the Chicago Bulls runs in the 1990s. I've been watching every Wolves playoff game. I love watching Anthony Edwards play. I like watching Julius Randle. It's okay to like multiple sports.
You can like multiple sports.
Yeah.
And just
we don't have to be in a camp.
Right. You don't have to be, just like with dogs and cats, you don't have to be in a camp. I think you have a dog and you don't have a cat. I don't have either. I had a dog as a kid. It was devastating. 7 years old, it died. I wouldn't let my parents take it from me. Said I want to keep Turk for a while. They said, okay. Took him for a walk. When I do that at Flop Sweat.
Visual joke.
When I do that at Flop Sweat and Tears, the people groan, they get mad. All the dog people hate me.
Well, yeah.
Then I go fur rubbed off on one side. Then I do the visual of flipping the dog over. Now they're really mad. I got the bit from my brother. I inherited his stuff when he retired from comedy. And I have to tell him at the end of the show, I don't really do that. It's just, my dog didn't die, and I didn't drag him with a leash and a collar when I was 7 years old.
You think the hockey community gets defensive. The dog community is times 20.
Trust me. You can be a dog and a cat guy. I like both dogs and cats.
You just like animals.
I do.
Yeah.
Now, I don't like gerbils or hamsters.
Really?
No, I don't.
You like a hamster?
No, I don't want no hamster stuff.
I don't like snakes.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have a pet snake either. No. But when I was a kid, we had a pet cow. Great big, huge litter box. Copyright Wild Bill Bauer. Great big,
I like how you always tell that joke in his voice.
Yeah. Great big, huge litter box. Well, it would be, wouldn't it?
It'd be massive, yes.
Be a massive one if you've ever seen a cow pie. So, look, we talked about this in the first segment, I think. It's really, whoa. Do you have anything to say about anything? Because I want to get back to this. It won't take me long. It was early in the show. Someone was reprimanding us, those of us that he thinks we have a loser's mentality.
When it comes to what?
Well, like the Wolves, because we're all kind of concerned about the Wolves. And I think it was addressed. It was said during the Paul Allen project. But
okay.
But he put us all in the same.
They'd love to throw all KFAN personalities in the same bucket.
We're all in the same bucket. I'm almost there now. This is hold on.
Like I've made posts on social media before, and then people will respond, typical KFAN take, as if every single personality has the exact same take on everything.
This came in at 11:37:59. You all, and all is capitalized, you all on KFAN are still talking loser mentality. Let's figure out what OKC weaknesses and flaws are and exploit those and start putting the pressure on them. Flip the script with exclamation marks. So I decided, I took the bait. I responded to him. I said, you make it sound so simple. It's difficult to flip the script when you're the inferior team. So I threw that at him to see what he'd say. He bit with something else. He said, it is that simple. Call Trent Tucker. But really, just figure out the weaknesses and flaws and exploit them and start putting pressure on them and just flip the script to be fine. Now, they could flip the script
I'm sure the team's attempting to do that.
Well, exactly. Doesn't mean it's going to be successful.
We're not on the team.
Exactly. And it's like I say, he makes it sound simple. It's just like, well, all we have to do is figure out their weaknesses and their flaws, exploit them, and put pressure on them. We'll just flip the script and we'll win the game. Well, that's easier said than done, right? Every team in the history of sports tries to do that when you are in a playoff series, whether it's a best of 3, best of 5, best of 7. You're trying to figure out a way to beat the others, especially if you lose. Opening game, you lose it. Okay, what can we do different? Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. Now, do I think the Thunder are going to win 4-0? No. I still think from what I saw and going by what's happened all season, I would say overall they're a better team, but I don't know by how much. Slightly better. And just because you're slightly better than the other team doesn't mean the other team can't figure some things out, get out coached, deny the player the ball, all those things we talk about. Inferior teams often win. The problem, and in my opinion, might not be shared by everyone, including Wolves fans. The diehards are going to say you're crazy if you think the Wolves are an inferior team to the Thunder. I think they are, but not by much. Doesn't mean the Wolves can't win. Again, you need some. Basically, what you need to do is you got to shoot better. That'd be number one. Forget about OKC's weaknesses and flaws. Your own flaw was, and your own weakness is, you didn't hit any 3-point shots. It was 51 3-point shots, the most the team has ever taken in a postseason game. And what did they make, like 15 of them?
But I also think that's the reason for optimism.
Yes.
Right? Because shooting in any small sample size of any basketball game, it's kind of like in baseball, right? There are times in baseball where you can hit the ball really, really hard, and it just happens to be at somebody.
Correct.
And you can barely get a piece of it that ends up being a blooper and just falls in the right spot and you get a hit, right? And that's why a small sample size of one baseball game, there can be a little bit of a luck factor. And not saying that there's luck in shooting, but I just think a lot of that is a little cyclical, and can be changed easily, right? Like, it's one thing if you just aren't getting open shots. That's a little more worrisome. The Wolves are getting open looks. They just weren't hitting. I'd like to think as the series moves along, the law of averages is you're going to start hitting those shots.
Yes.
So I'm not in panic mode over the Wolves. I thought it was going to be a long series to begin with. I clearly thought OKC was going to give you much more of a challenge than LA and Golden State did. But the way game one transpired, not that the Wolves played great and they turned the ball over too often and all that stuff, but I do think, there's a lot of just open threes they miss. And the way OKC plays defense, they're going to get open looks from threes. So if they're hitting them, they can win. If they're not, they can lose.
It sounds like what you're saying is you're willing to go down with this ship.
I'm going to say it's not over till it's over.
I bet. I've not been to your house, but I bet there's no white flag above your door.
No, I think the Wolves are going to respond with a win tonight.
You think so?
Yes.
Wait, hold on.
Quack, quack. Quack, quack.
One.
Now, look at Mr. Hockey Guy rubbing his little grubby hockey gloves together, trying to curry favor.
I'm just playing to the audience of the basketball camp.
Exactly. You're trying to curry favor with the basketball camp. The basketball community. Tell me, you're not fooling anybody. You're a hockey community guy and you hate basketball. You just hate it because you're a hockey guy. That's what people think.
I think with all the discussion about SGA's flopping, the Wolves sent clips to the league about, look, he's intentionally trying to draw fouls, that the referees are going to be a little bit more on alert tonight when it comes to SGA, and I don't know if he's going to be getting all the calls that he got in game one. And I think the Wolves are going to be able to hit some threes because they've typically been a good three-point shooting team throughout the season.
There are more fans of basketball in the state than hockey, and more people play basketball than hockey. Well, Tim, what do you have to say to that, Mr. Grubby little hockey gloves over there?
I would just say quantity doesn't necessarily mean quality, is what I would say.
Lavelle is just a puppet for Dan B, the big ticket. They don't have a clue. The real numbers from history and present. The real numbers tend to be. What if I told you I thought this was a pickleball state or a tiddlywink state? Think that'd get people going? You ever play pickup sticks?
No.
Great game. Dominoes is fun, too. Not the pizza place. That's okay, but I'm talking about the game of dominoes. Your favorite board game, what is it? Did we ever talk about this?
Man, it's been so long. I'm a big Clue.
Mr. Mustard in the library with a monkey wrench?
Yeah.
Isn't that what that game is? Yeah.
Miss Scarlet with the candlestick?
Yeah.
In the billiard room?
Back in our Haight-Ashbury days, we used to love to play aggravation. Wonder why that was my favorite game. You think I'm aggravating enough? But the best part was because, you shuffle the dice and you move your marbles. And the way, all we wanted to do was just knock out the other people. This was basically a rule you had to play by or you'd never get invited back. If you had a chance to win or send someone back to start, you send someone back to start and try to win on your next roll. Oh, we used to love to play. We were Haight-Ashbury days, but
that's always the problem with playing Sorry. If there's four of you, right? If it's me and then Leo and Samson and Igor, it's a great simple game because they all understand it and can figure it out. But then when I have to make a choice as to what child I want to eliminate, how do you go about doing that without making one of them mad?
Well, and I think I've told you this before. I love the game Scrabble because I'm kind of a wordsmith, right? And I love the game. And you know how it works. You got double letter score, double word, triple word score, the red ones. That's where, if your word's worth 12, suddenly it's a 36-point word. And my wife likes to play, but she's not cutthroat. So she'll spell words. I go, you can't leave triple word score open for me. Because if I'm playing a board game, I guess I'm a try-hard.
Yeah, you're sweaty.
Yeah, I'm a sweaty. I'm attempting to win the game. If I don't, it's no big deal. Scrabble's so much fun. And then Deuce still gets teased. Because you can just, if you've played Scrabble before, and it's kind of a clunky board where some shorter words are there, and it just can stop. So there was one last place to spell a word. God, what was the 3-letter word Deuce spelled? It was toe. T-O-E. And it's like, it just ruined the whole board. Because we're all looking at me going, dude, how do you spell toe there in that spot? That's the only place we can build. We just have to stop the game. There was nothing we could do.
There's no longer building this thing together.
No, we couldn't build it together. It was like, we were just looking at him. We were aghast. It's like, wait, because he's another guy that doesn't take that. Like golf, he doesn't take. You know what he even told us this? He goes, so we're going to play Deacons on Friday morning. He goes, well, we're going to be able to have breakfast before? He goes, it's 7 o'clock tea time. There's no breakfast. He goes, well, I think I'll just pass on that. And then he goes,
I always
it'd
love
be
that
better
one.
to play in the afternoon and at the Pines. And this is his logic. He goes, because, we're staying right on the Pines, right? He says, because if you and baby brother Peter get pissy, then I can just go back to the cabin. Because baby brother Peter and I do tend every once in a while, we grouse a little bit and get a little annoyed, because we're trying to play well. And he has the right approach. He's
young, wild, and free.
Yeah, he hits a ball in the woods. He grabs another one, hits another. He doesn't care. He laughs. He's just having as much fun as he can possibly have. It doesn't matter to him. And then, Peter and I will hit a couple of bad shots. And it's like, damn it. So there's been time he goes, I can't play with you guys anymore. I got to leave. And then we say, okay, we'll be on our better behavior. And then for a hole or two, we kind of couch it. So, yeah, he's got the right attitude. That's the way you're supposed to play golf. And I'm better than I used to be. But I'm struggling right now.
We're all growing when it comes to that.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get to the top of the hours. What I'm struggling to do. I mean,
we can just get there if you want.
Well, yeah, we're there. That's good enough. I mean, because Rosen's got plenty on his mind. You know that. Is he wearing something Timberwolves related today? Oh, remember he said he won't
because he made fun of him for it.
Do you remember when he said, well, it was raining. It was the only thing that had a hood. Yesterday he came in with just a regular sweatshirt that had a hood on. So he just made it up as he went along. In JG, I had to admonish him a little bit on the change of shows. He was just so bitter. I don't like fly. He was, spit flying out of his mouth, right? I don't like floppers. Didn't like when Jordan did, and he was mad about SGA, right? And I go, you and people like you that complain about the officials so much, you need long-term psychiatric care, and even then there's very little hope. And he said, yeah, you're probably right. So he agreed. We'll take a break. We'll talk with the legendary one Mark Rosen next here on The Fan.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit, so you can push your gameplay beyond performance with Intel Core Ultra processors. For the next era of gaming, upgrade to smooth, high-quality streaming with Intel Wi-Fi 6E and maximize game performance with enhanced overclocking. Win the tech search. Power up at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. You can't rely on blind faith to get the pregnancy support you deserve. Ritual's Essential Prenatal Multivitamin is the only leading prenatal backed by its own human clinical trial. Essential Prenatal is proven to deliver key nutrients, including folate, biotin, and vitamin D during pregnancy. Get 25% off when you visit ritual.com/clinical. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.